Hi, my name is Liza George, and I have Stefano Riznyk here with me today. He also goes by Steven as well. He is the CEO and Design Director of Antonio Stefano. Now, I know that you get a lot of questions from a lot of people who just basically want to know how do you make a tie or what goes into a tie. So why don't you take the time and explain it to us
And
today?
they also want to know why ties cost so much.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So and here I'm, in case you're thinking that we didn't clean up the set before we shot, we actually did, but our ties came in yesterday from Italy, our first set of ties that we actually get to see and feel after all of the work and time. And this is from day one. To get to this stage took a good 6 months. And from we placed our order, it took a good 3 months. So we're very excited. And so yes, I will share what's involved. Before, let me get a couple of things out of the way. This is the lining of the tie, and you notice it has our logo here, and you'll see it right in the middle on the back of every tie. And so that is what the design cloth looks like. And these little guys are our little labels. These labels, if you knew, we had a big graphic palette, and we sat there and I wrote Antonio Stefano on this massive palette, and then we wrote it another like 200 times, and it was the first take that ended up working, and so we have them, of course, on the back of every tie. Now, in terms of what it takes to make a tie, first I come up with an idea. For example, this is my baby. This I call it my number one. I have 3 favorite ties in this collection, and this is my number one, and my heart and soul are poured into this.
It's beautiful.
It is, and our designer did a splendid job of translating what I was looking for. I wanted something that, spoke to you. Something that says, I'm happy, life is going well, the world is going well, I feel rich regardless of how much I'm worth in the bank. Just one that expresses that, and the detail, everything that went into it, took a lot of time. Just coming up with the one tie. What we did is, I explained to him, this is what I'm looking for, that's what I'm looking for, da 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 da. But then I didn't know where to go from there in actually the execution, so he created a mock-up, and we'll show you what some of those look like. And then he sent me the mock-up. Then I said I want to change this, that, and that to create my specific look. And we went back and forth, and then he gave me the final tie. Then of course you have to decide where do you cut the edges, because you've got a design, that goes on both sides. And so you have to decide where is the edge of the tie. And so we made that decision. And then when you've done all of that, you finally have the design. Then, of course, we have to digitize this, because this is done by hand, like literally drawn by hand, layer by excruciating layer. And then it's digitized, and then we finally have a pattern. Then we send it to the printer. And part of the problem you have, the printing machines are computerized. Well, it's not a problem, it's good and bad. And it took several iterations to get the palette right, so that the colors were exactly the ones that we envisioned. Because on top of the design, you also had to decide what color do you want, what gradient you want at every little step. I mean, to me, I consider a tie a work of art.
Well, it is. I mean, if you have to go through all those steps and it's made by hand, it is a work of art.
And it speaks. I have a drawer in my office full of ties, and with the exception of the beautiful ones that I found, which is maybe 10 or 15 in my life, the rest of them are boring. Nobody notices. But if you have one that expresses who you are, what you're doing, people notice and they speak to you. Here's an example. This is just, it's going to get a little bit messy, and I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. I'm patient. This is, I'll show you my little baby here.
There she is.
See, that is the beginning of that.
I see.
Without the colors, without anything, this is where we started. by hand. As you can tell, this is not machine drawn because there are imperfections, there's paint stains. So that's where we begin to decide what are we going to do with this. And then, show you more and more. Here, for example, you see what's involved there in laying out all of the graphics, deciding this tie.
There you go.
So that's what's involved when you've got a tie where both sides are going to be equivalent. When you start out and you literally draw it by hand, and then of course come the colors. And you know, my attitude is, you know, life is colorful. You know, at the end of the day, life is a buffet. Whatever you choose not to eat, it's your choice. You can't come to God at the end of the day and say, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that. He's going to say, excuse me, I gave you health, I gave you the money to do it, I gave you the opportunity. You didn't choose, don't blame me. So I think, and that's what my ties represent. You know, life is very colorful, very alive, very vibrant. And, you know, not everybody likes a vibrant tie, and that's their loss.
Well, it seems these ties are investments. It's more than just, you know, you may pick a tie because you love it, but it's also an investment as well. Because you're paying a lot, you're going to hang on to that for a really long time.
Well, you know, and they will last a long time. These are handmade, the best silk we could find in Lake Como, and even the interior. If you find if you take apart an old tie you're throwing out, see a lot of the interiors are made with composite fabrics. Ours are made with wool, so you can actually feel the stiffness. That it's a whole different kind of tie. So on to the initial conversation. Here are more designs. As we're making the design, then we have this paper that comes in with a second layer of what we want to add to it. And here's the peacock, for example. And we're coming up with, and the peacock is this little baby here. Where is it? There you go. This vibrant, I am so happy with our printing house. The colors just came out exactly what we envisioned, a vibrant peacock. So this is what was involved in that one, for example. And one of my favorites.
Oh.
But originally, when this was drawn, and you can see this is a hand drawing, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I did like this. I felt there was too much black for a tie. Some people like black ties, but in that case, I'll just wear a black tie or maybe with gold dots or something. But I just felt it had to have a little bit more aliveness. And so we came up with this color. And to me, I mean, oh my God, I love this tie.
It's like,
I mean,
it's a totally different tie.
Just, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
So we got this little baby. Again, just to show people, again, another piece of art where everything is being mapped out by hand. Then we have the tracings that go over the next layer. And you know, when you see a tie and you go to a store and you see something sophisticated, you have no idea what went in behind it. There's another one. This is our logo, which I think they did an absolutely brilliant job on. I just love, and actually, if you see it in gold, you know, we're having letterheads and boxes printed and everything. It actually almost looks three-dimensional. So that's that puppy. The many conversations that we have in Italiano on Skype. Per favore, cambiate questo, per piacere, questo e quello. And the various iterations of each and every tie. This is what it takes, my friends. It's and this is a sneak peek at another tie that we're coming up with in our collection. It is being designed as we speak. Should go into printing in about 2 weeks. Just very unique, very rich. I love the way the gold comes out and the red kind of fans out like the feathers of a peacock.
Off of that, yes.
Yeah, so that's the sneak peek. Let's see what's behind it. Oh, another one that I love, the jewels.
Oh, okay.
Again, rich, colorful, but yet, wait till you see the iteration of it. Very, what's the word? sophisticated in the sense that, you know, you can walk into a boardroom meeting and you'll be just fine with it, because I don't want something that somebody can't use outside of a social engagement. And so that's a big concern. Here's my number one, the various layers. Oh my beautiful God, it's so much work into that one. These are the cutouts that we use when we've created a pattern that is repetitive, like the last two that you saw, and then we take this and we move it around the pattern and decide where are we finally going to decide at what angle. And oh my God, you think that's a 5-minute thing, and because I did. It is no 5-minute thing, and it takes more than one person. You know, L'Oreal's been very helpful. In addition to my designers, Pier Paolo, Alessandra, Giovanna, and we've been sitting there and spending hours upon hours going through these and finally deciding on the final one. This one originally was a design that Pier Paolo had done that was for a swimsuit.
I was going to say, that looks like a bathing suit to me.
Yes, you're right. And he was going to make a bathing suit out of it, and or you know, it was meant as a bathing suit, and it was one of the designs that he had. And then I modified it to make it into a tie, because I like the design. He has about 1,000 designs that he's already made, plus the ones that we're making. And some of his designs are just like, well, they're all one of a kind, but extraordinary, brilliant. And I said, you know what, let me buy this design from you and let's modify it. I see it as a tie. And in those words I said, but I'm just not sure how. I'm just not sure how this bathing suit is going to be a tie. And you have that darling tie?
I do.
Yeah, and you know what? Interestingly enough, more people have been engaged at this tie. You know, I've had a number of friends pop into my office than they have by my number one, which of course disappoints me. But still, if they're happy, I'm happy. So there's this, darling.
Oops.
Thank you.
Strapped tie.
And oh, look at this.
Oh,
see,
wow.
This is another one of the designs that was originally meant to be a one-piece bathing suit. Because he at one time turned around and created a bathing suit for Charlize Theron when she was starting her career. And I saw the pictures of that. So he's big on bathing suits, and we might be, haven't decided. We got a bunch of executive decisions to make. Last but not least, one of his, and you know that at least 25% of our profits, if not more, and probably will be more, are being devoted to a 501c3 charity that I run for abused and abandoned dogs, which is what I'm all about. We created a tie that when you wear it, people will know you're a dog lover. It has the German Shepherd, one of my favorite breeds, been raised with them. It's got a chain. Every single tie has our logo. You've got the logo here. You've got the dog comes up again on the back over here. And we've decided to rename this tie because everyone has a name and a story, which you'll see on our website. This is going to be called the Penny. I've met his gorgeous German Shepherd, Penny. Regrettably, she's got cancer.
Oh.
They've sent her to many surgeries, and at this point, you know, she's getting older. She may not survive the surgery. She's got about 3 months left, and in honor of her, who has been such an inspiration. She comes to the office every day, and oh my God, what a doll. And so we have the Penny tie that will identify you worldwide as a dog lover. So that's what it is. You figure, why are the ties expensive? That's why they're expensive. Not to mention the silk cost, the printing cost, the handmade, the shipping, the customs, blah, blah, blah. So for you who wonder why, that is why. That's it. I think have I answered the question?
I think you have. I think you've covered it, and everybody understands now.
Good.
Thank you.
So don't forget to visit us on our community/blog website, where we have casting notices for the various models that we're engaging with worldwide, as well as news on ties, fashion, all kinds of neat things over there. Now that's antoniostefano.net. And then it's got a link if you want to purchase ties, and that's antoniostefano.com. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for taking the time to share this crazy excitement with us. We love you all.
Thank you.
Cheers.